What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord, here with my good buddies, the three amigos, to talk about something that's really very interesting. A lot of people constantly talk to me about buying the next property, buying the next property, buying the next property. Too often, they're ignoring the best return on their capital. So when you talk about my buck method, the best use of capital, what it really is looking at what is your greatest return? What's going to give you the greatest return on that capital? Well, if you're not finding great deals in your area and you are already a landlord, I would look at potentially looking at the rent box that we teach people how to do. Look at the rent box and see, if I drastically improve this unit, am I going to get a significant return? So, Mike, when I talk about that, because I know that you will renovate units, I know you get a fantastic team. And so when I talk about that, is that something that you consider when you're looking at, do I buy the next property or do I just upscale what I've got and see a greater return?
So I would say, as a normal course of business, the answer is no. I'm always looking for the next thing to put on the stack.
Sure.
However, there have been a couple of times, last year being one of them, where the average yield of my buy box got so low
Yes.
that I wasn't doing transactions.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, when it got stupid and people were overpaying, I get out. Right. I've been very clear. I'm out. So I focused operationally. And you're absolutely right. There are things you can do when you own a portfolio, via upgrades or configurations, or I even tried to do an ADU, right, which we've talked about. Again, I was open to anything because, again, uh, to me, it's always, I call it yield. You can call it return on capital or whatever you want,
Sure.
but that's the only thing that matters, and it drives people crazy, right? Oh, Zuber, bigger is better. Unit count, blah 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 blah. Like, no, I got a buddy of mine who's got 16 units that'll run rings around you. And because it's always about return on capital for me. So yeah, there's been a couple of times um, where it was about operational focus, but I will admit to not most of my career, but last year being one that was definitely operational focused.
Yeah, it's like, don't fight the Fed, don't fight the tape, right? You're looking at,
Yeah.
you're just like, doesn't matter what I do with rates being what they are, the deals being so expensive. Yeah, I can do a deal at 6 points, that's going to give me 6 points on my money. But if I rehab this unit, I can actually make 18 points.
12 or 18. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so to your point, it's you always chase that best yield, and I'm always looking for that best
It's
return.
the only number. It's the
Right.
only number that matters in my. I want my money making babies, and I
Yes.
want that number to be the biggest thing possible. That's
The
all I think
best
about.
use of capital. All right, Dion, I'm going to give you a shot at this. I'm just going to go underneath my desk because I'm waiting for whatever the contrarian view is going to be. But yeah, yeah. I'm
So I
emotionally
ran a
prepared.
martial arts studio for about 15 years, and there's a concept where law enforcement will use a distraction, but in the teaching that I did was always come from a different angle. Right? Never approach dead on, never come from the side. Everyone's expecting that. So step 45, come in at that angle they're not expecting. So it's not really contrarian. It's best use of capital is right, but I think it's best option. So normally, the reason I'm able to find cash flowing deals on the MLS is I'm very confident in my ability to use the binder strategy and get the tenant that is existing in the unit to ask me to raise the rents.
Mm-hmm.
Once I do that, generally every 2 years, I would do a 5% increase. So 1 year, nothing changes with the rent. Tenants are happy. Next year, 5%. And I'm making a video on how much a 5% rent increase actually impacts your profit. Right? It's not because it's 5% of gross, which has a huge percent on net. But then 2020 happened, 2021 happened. You have to watch what's happening in the market. Would it make more sense to buy the next deal or go, wow, rents have gone up 40 to 60%, maybe even more. I'm going to use the binder strategy on existing tenants who would normally only be getting a 5 or 0% if it's their off year. I'm going to do the binder strategy, let the tenants know what's going on with rents, ask them what's fair. I had a 20 to 28% increase on rents across the board at tenants' request. Happy tenants. My cash flow changed way more than I was expecting without purchasing. I didn't purchase anything in 2020. I went into 2020 expecting. So here's the numbers. I'm still small enough to share actual numbers. Someday I hope to be big enough to where I don't share numbers anymore. But I projected 168,000 in profit for 2022. I hit 203.
Nice.
Because I was watching rents and I knew this was the best strategy. Could I have not focused on, let me take that, it's 10, 20 minutes, do research on a binder, create a binder, go have a meeting with the tenant, talk to them, do this negotiation. Or do I dedicate all this time to finding the next deal? Yes, I was looking every day for the next deal, but it wasn't my focus. I continued to save, I continued to work on credit score, continued to look for deals. But my best return was on the existing tenants.
Yes.
And I was talking to a gentleman the other day who is not Cody from Cody and Christian, but he's a guy named Cody trying to do Cody things. And we had some options where he has a tenant that's paying significantly lower than market rents. The tenant said, I'm not going to pay anymore. I'm just going to move. Sometimes tenant turnover is the best option.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. Get that person out, get to market. Let's say you spend $5,000 on flooring and paint and do some things to update it, but you're getting a $400 a month increase in rent. But that ends up being like a 45, we did the math, and it was like 45 or 50% return on your capital based on that tenant turnover, the expense of the rehab, if those exist. So it could have been less, right? The tenant, because he said it was a good tenant, takes care of the place, but I always expect flooring. It wasn't buying the next unit. That wasn't the best use of capital. The best use
totally agree.
In that case, get the tenant out of there or use the binder strategy. I think the barrier was they were using property management, but it's not always buy the next deal. Yes, if you're not looking, you're going to miss things. You're not going to know your market. It's going to be hard to jump back in. It takes 60 to 90 days to learn average to start making your offers again. But I've looked at, I can't wait for a tenant to move out because there's a unit that has a den. No, a den with a closet.
You mean third bedroom?
2 ways in and out.
Exactly. You mean a bedroom just waiting there? Yeah.
It just hasn't been converted. Like the last thing I need to do is I'm putting in one wall with a door and probably a light switch. Like it'll probably cost me about $4,000. I've had it estimated because I did it on the other side already. The other side is already getting like $600 more a month because I put a wall in.
Yeah, I've done that 25 times, 30 times.
I mean, this is where I want to push people to think outside the envelope. If you're still not seeing deals in your market, you're still not seeing great returns in your market. Now you're getting to the point where your savings, like Dion, are getting frothy. If you're looking at something like that, you can start, and it's frustrating, right, Dion? Like I'm seeing my number go up every single month. There is a level, like this is a wham, too bad for me, right? But still it's going up every single month. And you're just like, yeah, but that's dead money. Like that's making me 0.0125%. It's dead money. And so every month that sits there, it's money that I'm not making money on it. But we had, just in the month of December, we did about $20,000 worth of rehab to 5 total units.
How much?
20,000 rehab.
Oh, okay.
To 5 units. It was 20,000 total because it was in one place it was like 2 or 3K, one place it was like 7. But we did $20,000 worth of rehab in 5 units. Those 5 units went from about right around $8,000 a month to 13.
Damn.
Had a 4-month return on investment there. And again, it's just looking at your business like an operator. And when you look at it like an operator, you're not just focused on one thing, which is acquisition. You are focused on how much capital do I have? What is the best use of that capital? Because if you deploy it like I just did, that $20,000, if the bank came back to me and said, you spent $20,000 on 5 units, and I'd say, yeah, my return on my capital is 4 months. They would be like, okay, yeah, we get it. And now you're going to see that the rest of the year, but that's how you increase the engine. And the key to this is you don't want to have to put yourself in a position where you're looking at these units, you had somebody leave and you didn't take the chance to upgrade it. You have to be smart about it. That's one of the things that we teach in my course. Oh shit, I'm a landlord. Now what? We teach you how to spend on the 5 things that actually get you a return of a higher price in that unit and that help people stick. I mean, Dion's got the stickiest tenants on the planet, and it's because
you have to have
binder
a list of reasons why you limit tenant turnover. That's what's working for me. There's not one element that's doing it, right?
That's exactly right. You have to, it's what I started to talk about is curating the experience. Too often landlords are not curating an experience. This is what it is. And if it's a budget unit, that's fine. Budget units are fine. But if you want to see real upward pressure on getting your rents that much higher and moving them that much faster, when a section A or a class property is $3,000 a month in rent, even when they drop it to 25, I'm at 15, I can go to 2. I'm $500 less a month. And the only amenity that I don't have is I'm 3 blocks away, but I have easier everything else. These are the areas that people need to fine tune when it comes to being an operator. Mike, thoughts on that concept?
I think that's exactly right. And I love the fact that you're, the hands-on guy in this group. And I'm glad that you created that course, because it's not an area I have expertise and frankly I have no interest in, right? I pay people for that, right?
Exactly.
And I'm far away, right? So,
yeah.
I'm fortunate that I get to live vicariously through your remodels and updates on Instagram. It's a lot of fun to watch, and every time I look at it, I'm going, glad that's not me.
Exactly. Yeah, when I'm knee deep in poo water. Yeah.
Yeah, glad that's not me.
They're waiters. It's okay. It doesn't get through, so it's all right. Dion, your thoughts on the tenant turnover piece and kind of upgrading your unit when you have the chance?
No, yeah, I definitely think tenant turnover can sometimes be a great thing. I like to limit tenant turnover because the expense can sink an owner when you're in your building phase. But sometimes if rents have adjusted enough, it's even better than the binder strategy to have tenant turnover.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they're not going to ask you to go to area average.
Right.
They're going to ask you to go up some to what's fair in their mind and your mind. And that to me has always been, not always, but it has been the best path. But sometimes tenant turnover is such an increase that the cost of the tenant turnover is justified by that better ROI. And I like, Matt, how you said our savings keeps growing, right? This is the terrible woe is us problem that your savings grows. And it's dead money. It's sitting in a bank. It's not earning, 0.0 something percent, right? So I've had people ask me, well, why don't you put it in, City or Allied and get a, 3 or 4% return in a savings account? And I'm like, that would be a good use of capital if you had no investing strategy at all.
Right.
But I want the little itch at the back of my neck saying that is dead money, not doing something for you. Find a deal to put that money in, not it's getting 3 or 4%. I'm making money. That's, there's $500,000 in there. So it's, it's 10 or 20, 30, whatever $1,000 a year you're going to make without having to do anything. Well, it could be $100,000.
Yeah.
By doing very little.
Yeah. One of the things I think you said that was absolutely brilliant, which you probably didn't even realize that you said it, which was you talked about the fact that newer investors should be concerned about turnover. I completely agree. I think this is where the operator piece also comes in, is that I have 10 to 12 units that we are absolutely dramatically raising rents on after I finish 16 units I have under construction right now. You have to be a good operator. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And Mike, you've seen this with your size portfolio, right? It's like, I've got 5 more that we can do, but we're not doing them now. It's because you want, even though that cash flow is less, even though it's less money than what you're going to get, it's still solid cash flow. It's still coming in. It's still operating. It's bringing, money in the door. And then you'll get to those 5 after those other 5 are finished. But then you have those other 5 performing. This is a mistake that too many people make. They go too big. And they're like,
or too fast or whatever.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing. Like Gary Vee talks a lot about people not being patient. Yeah, and you need to be patient. I like to say you need to be patiently impatient. You need to be impatient about the fact that you're not where you want to be yet, but you need to be patient about the fact that you need to let it unfold. You have to be doing the things, blocking and tackling, to get to the right spot. So, Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Go to YouTube, type in One Rental at a Time, book, course, all that great stuff is out there. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Although there are a lot of people on Instagram copying my account. These scammers suck. Yeah, they're mistyping my name now and all this stuff. I didn't have to worry about this for a year, but man, it has exploded. So I only have one channel. I don't talk about Bitcoin. I never ask for money. So if you get any of that nonsense on Instagram, block those scammers, report them, please.
Yes, absolutely. And Dion, I know that same thing happens to you on your Instagram account.
There's a sense of pride when you go, I've made it. They're cloning me. I'm somebody worth cloning. So I'm never going to ask for money or send me money to invest or ask you to go buy a gift card for my office staff as a present or whatever the current scam is that's going around. We're talking about, people being in a hurry and being patient and how important patience is. There's a military concept, might be a law enforcement concept, but I'm sure it's used in all kinds of things. But in the military, you are trained to hurry up and wait. It is literally part of your training. You hurry up and wait because you never want a delay to be caused by something you could have done faster. It doesn't mean you're in a hurry to have the thing done, because you hurry up and then you wait. Can you work on your credit? These are the things you do quickly to work on credit. Doesn't mean you're going to buy the deal. You wait to find the deal. You wait to be ready. You wait to have the reserves and the cash and the down payment. But the things that you have control of, you hurry up. Then be prepared to wait.
Yeah. So one of my armed forces buddies, he would always talk about slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And that's what we want to focus on. We want to be slow, smooth, deliberate, and that will translate into speed. But most importantly is its quality. It's quality speed. It's not this life's edge. If 1-2 things don't go my way, I'm upside down, I'm broken. People really need to watch that. So as I always say, we try and create great content for you. Please make sure that you like and also subscribe and check out Dion Talk, as well as One Rental at a Time on YouTube. Good times had by all. Gentlemen, thanks so much for the time. We will talk again to you soon.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.